I seek your face, for there is no higher calling, no greater honor than to bow and kneel before your throne. Lord, I'm amazed at your glory and praise by your mercy, oh Lord. I live to worship you. There is no higher calling and no honor than to bow and kneel before your throne. Lord, I'm amazed at your glory and praise by your mercy, oh Lord. I live to worship you, for there is no higher calling, no greater honor than to bow and kneel before your throne. Lord, I'm amazed at your glory and praise by your mercies, oh Lord. I live to worship you.
Well, good morning, everybody. This is our Real Success Seminars for the Bridge Network. So I want to welcome every one of you this morning. We're glad you're here with us. Can we just spend a few moments just praying, if you don't mind? Father, we depend on you. We have nobody else to go to. We have nowhere else to be but in your presence. Our nation needs you. The nations of the world need you. We need you. Our church needs you. The church needs you. We need to hear from you. We need to follow you. We need to have an understanding of the times and seasons so that we will know what we ought to do as a church, as churches, and as the church, but more important, as the nation. And so without any confidence in our flesh, we lean on you this morning and say, Father, come and direct our path. Come and help us, that your name may be glorified. In Jesus' name, amen. Well, this morning we have a very, very special guest. You can only imagine her schedule, and so for her to be able to make time for us this morning, we're so grateful. I want to just tell her we're going live. I want to quickly introduce her. She really doesn't need introduction. So, but I just want to let her know that we're starting now, so that we can put her on screen. Mrs. Folasade Adefisayo is the Honorable Commissioner of Education, Lagos State, and until her appointment, she is the Principal Consultant of Leading Learning Limited, an educational consultancy that was incorporated in 2014. She started her own consulting practice. She's worked for public and private schools. She's worked for state government, for NGOs, for development partners. Her areas of professional focus include teacher training, leadership training, and school transformation. She came into education from a background in banking. She's an activist. She's concerned about the issues that concern schools in Nigeria. She's worked, before she became commissioner, with including Lagos State government, Osun State government, or your state government, you know. And more important, she's an extraordinary person. She's just wonderful she and her sister, who's with us here in Ibadan. She is the Merit Award winner. She holds a BSc, MBA, MED. I can go on, and she started her career in banking and finance, in education. She's an education consultant. She's engaged in providing. She's done so many interesting things, but the biggest thing on her plate right now is managing Lagos State education in this. Nobody saw this coming, COVID, and that's going to be my very first question to her this morning. Good morning, ma. Can we see her? Can we put her up central screen? Can you? I can't hear her on the external speaker. On the external. I can't hear her. Morning, ma. I can hear her here. How are you, ma? Okay, sorry. I'll move a little closer. The input is supposed to be coming in there, but I don't think it is. But it will come in a minute. They will fix it. Okay, what about now? Great, great. We are trying to hear you here. I apologize. We're projecting you on a big screen at the back. And we've developed a concept we call hybrid, which is we have a few people in the hall. We're broadcasting live, but we're projecting everybody on the screen so we can all relate. So those who are here get the same experience as those who are, people who are not here get the same experience as people who are. They'll resolve it.
Okay.
I have to mute this one now. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, great. Very interestingly, I think the best way for me to start is, well done, congratulations. But I feel, you know how September 11th happened under the rule of George Bush?
Your sound is not okay, Pastor.
Sound is not okay. Yeah. Maybe I should just use the microphone here. I have to lower it here. That's all. I can lower it. I've muted it, but she can't hear me. She can hear me now. But there's a reverb. So if I mute it, she can't hear me. So I'm muting it now. Now there's no reverb. Okay? But she can't hear me. Can we? So which one? Do I let my microphone go and then? Can you hear me now, ma? Any difference? She can't hear me. Sorry, ma.
Oh, no problem.
Guys, I need a decision. This is an unusual time to be Commissioner of Education. Like 9/11 happening to George Bush. So I wanted to ask you, how have you been coping and how are you? And this is the big Commissioner of Education and one of the most challenging times in human history.
Yeah.
What has that been like for you?
Good morning, Pastor. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for having me here. Well, it's been challenging. I won't gloss over that. But the way I always look at challenges is the way I've looked at this one as well. That it must be, it should bring to the fore all my strength of character, my ability as a professional, my understanding and so empathy and all that. So it really brings to the fore all the strengths you have, all the skills that you have. You now focus and deploy all these tools. So I think for me, it's been challenging. I wish it wasn't like this, frankly, because I had my plans. But this is it, and it is what it is. And so because it is what it is, then I must start to develop strategies to address what everybody now calls our new normal.
Thank you for that. We wish we were praying for you.
Thank you.
Usual success. Well, now our theme for this morning is Rethink. Although we wanted to do it in 3 stages: Rethink, Reframe, or Restart. But since you're here, you can look at the 3 of them together. I think it was Churchill that says, "Don't waste good crisis."
Yeah.
Don't let a good crisis go to waste.
Yeah.
As a teacher, you've reinvented yourself all these years. You went from banking, you developed skills, you rethought your entire life, the trajectory of your career, and now you're Commissioner of Lagos State in the most trying time in human history. Do you think it's a wonderful opportunity to rethink the entire progress? Do you think this fits into what you have to do right now, to rethink what we've been doing before now?
Yeah, I always knew we had to rethink it, but I always thought we had the luxury of time. I always thought, we can plan it, we can take it a step at a time. But this pandemic has shown us that we must transform. We must do a 360-degree turn now. There is no time to start to worry, quibble, plan extensive, beautiful, strategic plans. Now is time to move, implement all the ideas you've always had. So for me, it's time to really rethink the way we've always done things. And it's quite hard to move an elephant, you know that.
Yeah.
But I find that this pandemic has perforce moved people. And it has forced them to move, whether they like it or not. They've had to shift. I mean, look at us doing this on Zoom.
Yes.
When the pandemic started in Lagos State, it was like private schools have online schools. But over the years, we have not invested sufficiently in public education. Many of the schools don't have internet access. They don't even have power. And so, how do we ensure that? And of course, there's a huge learning gap between them and children from top private schools. So how do we bridge this? How do we bridge this gap? Conscience, I knew. Oh dear, there's a sound. There's a loud sound. Can I go on?
Yes, please.
Yeah. I knew I couldn't be Commissioner for Education and just, again, the sound.
There's a sound. Guys, she's hearing a sound.
Okay. I knew, Pastor, that I couldn't just sit at home. People told me, it will soon be over. It will soon be over. We are locking schools. Let the children go home. Do they have the internet? Do they have laptops? No. Let them just go home. It will soon be over. Then normal school will start again.
Yeah.
But I couldn't, in all conscience, allow that. So I challenged my staff and said, let's research and find ways by which we can reach children who just don't have access to devices and data. And so we started researching. And we found in India, some people are using radio and television. Yes. They are reinforcing it with WhatsApp, Telegram, paper, and so on. So we said, let's start with radio. So we started. And when we started with radio, the radio stations around, I called all of them, come. We don't have money. We can't pay you. They said it's 250,000 per day. We don't know how long this thing is going to go on. So how can we pay 250,000 per day? So again, I now said that if you want to work with us, work with us. Well, we are not paying anybody anything. Yeah. And 2 stations agreed to work with us. And by the way, they are making more money now because a lot of advertisements are addressed to young people. Yeah, so they initially they said they wanted to share the proceeds from advertisement from us, but cleverly they stopped talking about that. I was okay because that was not, I mean, it's that they gave up their money. They deserve to get their money, right? That's fine. So we just started. Our teachers, many had never taught, it's now a new milieu. You are teaching students you cannot see, who cannot answer you back. So it needed a new set of skills. So training and everything, we had to support our teachers, we had to give them data. And then they started. And they are still doing it. Wow. And some of them have become local celebrities. And some of them have used this to set up their own platforms on Telegram, on WhatsApp. So they teach every day. They teach children every day from their homes, using their own personal devices. And some have been able to do things like homework, because it was like, radio, how Yoruba say, Asoro Magbesi. How are we going to know that the children are learning? So they started doing things like giving them homework and having a whole chat session before every class. And children were sending their work and teachers were marking and sending back. So it all became quite, there was now a whole atmosphere of people teaching and learning. But there are still problems. Like we found out that fully 1/5 of the children in the state do not even have access to radio. Here you are talking about internet. Leave that one. They don't have. But they don't even have access to radios. So we just started calling on people, my friends, because I know if we make it, some people made noise about it and Twitter has gone ballistic. Why are we suffering like this? In this day and age, why are we talking about radio? But we knew that places like the waterside and so on, there is no internet access. So we just started buying radios. They are 2,000. Some of my friends bought 100, some bought 50, and then all of a sudden people started giving us 10,000, 7,000. So now we are able to distribute these radios to children in faraway communities. Wow. And so so you can see how even the radio thing we are doing, we've seen that children must, they say all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. So what did we do? We had, what we did was that we asked for another television station, this time TVC actually, and they gave us every day to broadcast co-curricular and extracurricular. So on Mondays, we had panel discussions, teachers talking to them about, taking their questions. Some would call and, because they are going through a lot, sexual harassment, bullying. Some are working for force exposed to the virus. Some have lost family members. So there's a whole channel with teachers talking to them on Monday. On Tuesday, we have a fun station with co-creation hub where they see experiments online. This is very interesting. STEM experiments and all sorts of things on, online, but broadcast on TV. On the ending in 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Yes.
This thing is not going away. It is here. It will take time for it to go away, obviously. Yeah. If it ever goes away. Maybe we'll just have to learn to live with it. Yeah. Yes. And so, how best can we live with it? And so, my staff are coming up with all sorts of ideas. When we said Zoom meetings, some people were like, this centric commissioner has come again. But are we not seeing? Yesterday I met with all principals on Zoom, asking questions and so on. Are we not working? So it needs us to, as leaders, to be willing to understand that our people are initially afraid of this change, cannot conceive about how this can actually work. And so it's up to us as leaders to lead the way. And I enjoy that. So in a way, it's been a challenging period, but I've enjoyed it too. Let me put it that way.
Wow. But how, let me ask you a question. I was listening to you on the apostles in the marketplace. And you said you actually met some kids in 2020 who had never seen a television set.
Oh, yes.
If this is happening in Lagos, can we imagine what is happening to the whole country?
I couldn't believe it, actually. But their principal came to me to ask for radios, and I said, what is happening? She said, well, the children in my school have never seen a television set before. I had to take them to a teacher's house to show them what a television set looks like. So you can, that apostles in the marketplace, I wanted to get our elite to understand that you are living in a cocoon. The reality of what is happening is way, way worse than we can conceive or imagine. I'm sure for many of them, look, when we started doing homegrown school feeding, 70 naira per day per child, people were aghast. What can you eat for 70 naira? What kind of? I said, we are not talking about scrambled eggs and toast and cornflakes and blah, blah, blah. We are saying a child left home this morning and didn't have anything to eat. And so a bit of rice, an egg, and protein, put an orange beside it, and the child has protein, sustenance for the day. Children were coming to school and drinking the water in school. That was their sustenance in the morning. The water coming from taps. The poverty in the land is unbelievable. Yeah.
You see, the reason why this is important to me, or I'm passionate about this, is because I feel we've been looking in the wrong direction. Because we have access to the internet, we complain about silly things. When somebody is living on 70 naira food a day and has never seen a television set, that also shows us a market we need to look at to empower. So how were you able to get your staff to rethink? How were you able to get them to at least drop old ways of thinking and try new ones?
Well, let me say that they were not entirely unknowledgeable. They're teachers, and teachers generally, unless they are bad, generally want their students to do well. Let's say that. Let's start with that. So they generally, some don't, we know that, but let's talk in general terms. So for many of them, they really wanted their students to be better. They were worried. We closed schools about 2 weeks before WAEC.
Okay.
So it was like, what's going to happen to these children? They are going to sit at home. And even in the midst of all this, in Lagos State, I have seen some JAMB results I never knew existed. Well into 300s. And these are public school children. So, there are diamonds amongst all this. Yeah. So the teachers were like, if we leave them at home, there'll be a serious learning slide. Most of the children in some of our schools, it depends on where the school is. Like in Lukweju, they are working children, house help, plumber, apprentice, and so on. So they work. So they said, so how will I ensure that they still stay engaged? Because they will work. Because they need the money, their family needs the money. So for many of them, they started, talking to them, when you want to state your vision, when there is change, one thing you have to establish is the uncertainty, the difficulty of it, the fact that it's a reality. When I asked my staff this question around January, how long do you think it will take for COVID to get to Nigeria? All of them, we are all Christians, we are prayerful. We said, no, it can't happen. We prayed. and so on and so forth. I said, people pray in other countries too. But don't forget, this is a global village that we are in now. Wasn't it one man who came from Italy or something? And from then on, the thing just took a roller coaster life of its own. A single person walking into this country can infect how many people? So they were astonished. I said, no, it can't happen. And so, but within 2 weeks, the first case was announced. And here we are now. So you've got to get them to realize that it's going to happen. Then when the pain of that, as if, how will we survive? Then you allow a bit of time for pain and reflection and sorrow over it before you start to say, now, let's think, let's move to solutions mode. There is nothing on earth that God has given us that we cannot solve. No problem that we cannot solve. I said, even in the Bible, look at the plagues in the Bible. Look at things that happen in the Bible. They didn't even have all the technology we had then. They were able to curtail and manage some of these pandemics. Because those were pandemics too.
They were,
so then they started, So they sat down and I said, so sit down and start to plan. How will children continue learning? And that's how lots of ideas. And I had some staff that were phenomenal. Like one of my staff who is in charge of the radio programs. She's on, maybe 20 to 30 WhatsApp groups. Because, we talk. I can talk, but the nitty-gritty of it all, I can't do. So this girl, there's a group of math teachers, group for English teachers. They discuss, they agree the program for the week. I am a member of all these groups, and I see the amount of work that goes into it. So I think people had all these abilities, but I think they needed somebody to push, and so I gave the push. And periodically we celebrate and we reward them. It's important that people know, like I sent out letters thanking all of them individually. And then after the letter, because I remember that there was on Mother's Day, I got a letter from my boss, the governor, and he wrote it was typed, so obviously somebody typed it. But in his handwriting, he wrote, dear, not even commissioner, he wrote, dear, should I say it? Here is a secret, dear Big Sid. Once he put that, I felt so wanted. I felt so that, this man must think much something of me. So for all my staff, I put my hand somewhere there, thanking them. So they will see my writing, which is awful at the best of times. But we did that. We gave them, we give them some for their phones at times. They've not asked for money because they are enjoying it. Wow. So I think a leader, first of all, you've got to make them see the reality of the situation and then help them work a solution. Don't impose a solution on them. I suggested radio. Some said no. Some said no. Blah blah blah. I said okay, go and give me an alternative. So I think that's how it has been. It's been tough anyway. Yeah.
I'm going to allow people to ask a few questions.
Please.
Before I do that, one last thing I want to talk about is we're not going back. There's no going back.
No.
There's no, because that's my concern. We actually think that we're going to go back to what was the world before. So what are your thoughts about that and how we should prepare for that?
Pastor, we are not going back. So let us put, that's why we need to be creative now. That's why we really need to be creative. And there are so many examples, even from the Bible. There are two leaders I really love reading about in the Bible. They're Joshua and Nehemiah. When things change so dramatically, you need to change course. You could see how Joshua led his people creatively, coming across with various solutions, alternatively pushing them, pulling them, being annoyed with them, pulling them to himself again, but always making them see that we can do this. And there's a solution to this problem. Remember when the 12 of them went to check out the land? He came back and you remember what he saw?
Yes,
the spies, when they went, he saw the glass as half full.
Oh, yes.
That the place is good, we can take it. So I think we better get our people to know that this change is for a purpose. I don't believe this happened by happenstance, whatever. I think it's for a purpose. I think it's for us to, like you put it, to rethink the way we do things, to reframe, that is, develop new plans around how we are going to do this. And to what's the third re something, please? Restart. And to restart, to kickstart a new normal. And that's what I think we want. We are not going back. School is not going back. So, for example, in Lagos State, what I do is I tend to have lots of ideas. I wake up in the middle of the night. I have a pencil and biro beside my bed so that I jump, because I'll forget, and I just jot things down. So one day I jotted down, I said, an ecosystem for learning. Must school be about a building? How do we do this in public schools, where we have a school in Lagos with 9,000 children? Now, how do we practice social distance in that? Yes, with 9. That means for secondary school. That means for every class there are nearly 2,000 children.
Wow.
So clearly they can't go to school every day. So we sat down and said, look, they won't go to school every day. Or, what people said, morning school, afternoon school. That's harder than they think it is. You are telling teenagers to be closing at 5, 6. You have all sorts of social problems. So they will close. The next day they won't go to school. Now what do they do on the days they don't go to school? That's our challenge now. So we said, we started getting devices again. Like First Bank gave us 20,000. We are running a 1 million device. So we've got quite a number now from First Bank. We'll give the children these devices. That's the Nigerian curriculum and so on. In it, tests and quizzes, chat rooms for their teachers, internet access from MTN for like 6 months. We'll discuss with them before it ends and see how we can, what we can do going forward. So we'll have that. So on the days off, what we are going to now do is, we are going to do the radio program will continue. In fact, we are setting up our own radio station, education radio station. It's a bit of money, but we want to set it up.
But it's smart.
Yes. So
and
we
you can
will
use internet to share it too. Yeah.
Oh yes, we'll share it on internet. We share it across all platforms. But we are going to set it up so that 24/7 will be broadcasting. Children out of school will be able to access. Adults will have in the evening maybe training for teachers and so. We're very excited about that. So that means when children come they come to school on Monday, on Tuesday there is no school. What they do on Monday, we'll give them a lot of homework. On Tuesday they go on radio. It will reinforce what they learned in school. Online we'll reinforce it, because we will have a website where our curriculum will be, where our teachers will be teaching and so on. And I'm happy that because people can see what we are doing, we've been visited by all sorts of organizations promising support. There's an organization we are working with now. They gave a district in the US cloud solution. It still needs the internet, but this is for places where there's no service. So the children can still have the devices, but take their... I'm not very good with tech, Pastor. I hope I'm talking sense. But take the... from the cloud solution, from the central cloud solution, which itself can be updated periodically. That's what we are trying to do now. So that those devices will give children in the outskirts, the riverine areas, the distant places in Badagry, Bejuleki, places like that, so that they will be able to access. And I think within the next 6 months, all this will kick in. So it's clear that we have to go for a different solution. Teachers must understand that their role, it's not that they are going to die off. No, you still need that one-on-one thing. Yeah, but it will change.
Yeah.
When people were telling us they'll be facilitators of learning, we were like, what does this mean? Now this is showing us.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So we
just
have
so much.
Thank you very much.
Anybody want to ask a question? Put up your hand and we'll take you quickly. We're running out of time. We have about...
How many minutes to go? Sorry, Pastor, I went on and on, but
No. We had really wonderful. We haven't even had enough time. We'll fix the sound before you come back. And,
okay.
Anybody want to ask a question, please?
Please ask me.
But nobody has asked a question yet. You were working with Bridge Academy.
Yes.
And they had this device where they would download information to the principal, who will use Bluetooth to share it with the teachers.
Yes.
Have you expanded that? Have you looked at those possibilities as well?
Oh, this is one of the things that we were doing with COVID. The teachers all had tablets and they were teaching in class with those tablets.
Yes.
But, this thing just came and zapped off. We were, because it's quite an expensive program and the teachers need a lot of teaching. Because the teaching is not just in the use of the devices, which is important, but also in teaching them a whole new range of instructional methodologies for using the language, up to affirming language for the children and so on. So we needed to do a lot of training and we were going to do it in batches. We have 1,000 primary schools. So we are going to do it at 300, 200, 500. So that by September, we were going to resume with all our schools on what we call a co-excel. We were only able to do the 300, but over this period, they helped us a lot with the children learning at home on radio and on the internet and so on. So now what we have done is we'll now start the training now. We want to start again so that hopefully by the time we open school in September, by God's grace, again, we'll have more teachers with tablets, more teachers teaching. So that has been quite revolutionary in the primary schools. They have only one target. Every child must read in primary one. That's all. Once you can read, you can do most things. Yeah.
I have to commend you, Ma, because radio, even here in Ibadan, some of our clients tell us that it's still the most effective way to reach people.
Yeah.
And radio is technology. I don't know why people don't look at it that way.
It's lower level technology, but it is technology.
Yeah. So I'd like to. Anybody want to ask a question because I can continue, guys? All right, they're shy.
We're just in awe of Mrs Adefisayo. We're enjoying listening to her.
That's not a fair comment. And you know why?
Biased.
It's a biased comment.
Indeed.
So, in other words, new jobs are going to come up now.
Yeah.
Especially in your education field.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of technical people will have to come and join the team. Some teachers will have to make that progression into, maybe they might find a niche in the. But as far as I'm concerned, Lagos State is still ahead of all the other states. Are you getting any requests for help?
Oh yeah, we have a platform for commissioners. We talk to each other.
Okay,
so we tell them what we are doing and they share. And many states have come on board with radio and so on. I'm just hoping that people don't get too comfortable with it and start moving to the next level. But we do have a forum where we commissioners exchange ideas and talk to ourselves. And for Dawn, I don't know whether you know the Dawn Commission.
Dawn Commission, yes.
Yeah, the Dawn Commission has been working with Southwest States. They've gotten banks involved, technical organizations and so on. So it's been quite interesting again. Yeah.
Okay, I want to get personal now. Your getting here has been quite a journey. Did you ever think 2020 you will be handling something so global and such a national level when you joined the bank? How many years ago?
No, when I joined the bank, all I wanted to be was a banker. I loved banking. Frankly, I did. I enjoyed the job. I was quite involved. I did well. I rose well. But I think I made a wrong career move. And I moved to a finance house. And, remember that time? So I was one of those who was bedazzled by finance house. So I moved to a finance house and it collapsed. And when it collapsed, within... I'd only got that big salary for about 3 or 4 months. So, and the fine car and everything, it didn't last long before the trouble started. So, facing that trouble for me again was learning because I had to lead my people. I had an MD who sometimes you will see him, sometimes you won't see him. But I had to be there for my staff through the difficulties. And I think that's why I believe in something called portable skills, that you take skills from every job. So from that
yes.
finance house experience, I mean, I was picked up by the police. I don't know how many times, in and out of the.
You're serious?
You're very serious. The last one, I think it was, they released me at 3 a.m. And
Oh
I
my
was
God.
so emotional. I said, I'm not spending the night in jail. I didn't steal anybody's money. I just stepped out and saw my husband. He had been waiting outside. They didn't tell him they were going to release me. He slept in the car. So the man told me, if you go out of this gate, we won't let you in again. I said, I'm fine. Let me out. I can't stay here. So he opened the gate, and there was my husband. It was part of the torture of it all, you know. So that destabilized me a bit. I went back to banking a bit, but I found I could no longer perform well. I was afraid to ask people to bring money. I mean, so I wasn't a good banker anymore. So that was when but I was teaching banking, and I was a facilitator working with finance companies. So I just continued teaching Institute of Bankers and so on. Then all of a sudden I saw an advert in the papers. Corona wanted an executive director. They didn't need an educationist. They wanted somebody who had good management experience. Of course, I had the experience. I went for a series of, in fact, I had given up when they called me and said, well, you are a new CEO. So I was CEO there for 8 years. I now just fell in love with education. I even went for PGD, Masters in Education and everything. And as they say...
When you joined education, you couldn't have, there were no clear destinations at that time. I mean, you had already become a top banker. You were chief executive of Corona. So what could you have seen as an option that made you continue to develop yourself in education?
Let me tell you, Pastor, sometimes in life, listen, I remember my dad used to tell me that advice can come from anywhere. Keep your ears open and let your spirit man speak to you. Quicken your spirit so that you hear. There was a senior friend of mine, and she used to tease me. She said, Shade, what are you doing in Corona? The children can afford it. Their problems are first world countries. Like the AC is not working, or the teacher doesn't speak good English. She said, there are millions. Why don't you influence the millions of children outside who have no access to education? So I started getting involved with the state governments. I started teaching for Lagos State, saying, look, Corona, we can't just work in isolation. Let's influence our environment. So that's when I started getting involved with public education, and I saw that, is this fair? Always in my heart, that why should a Corona child enjoy this and another child not enjoy? So it just hit me, and that's how I became very committed to public education. I'm very committed to. People don't understand. They think I'm going to be pushing the agenda of private schools. No. That's why I spoke that way at Apostles in the Marketplace. I'm not your man. No.
But can I really, because you brought me to a point that we're going to continue in the network service.
Okay.
It's the fact that we are still not looking at the problems of this country as our problems.
Yeah.
And we don't see a call to solving our country's problem. Don't you think this is a major problem for us?
It's a major problem, and we are the people who can solve it.
Yes,
it will affect us. You know, I always tell people that, look, it will affect you, because that's why you have area boys. That's why you can't walk the streets easily. I can't walk outside my house. I cannot take a walk down. I'll have a lot of problems. People begging me for money, even in my office. If we had educated them, given them skills, then we wouldn't have this kind of situation. It's affected. That's why we build all these houses with great big walls and so on. Because the next generation is just not equipped to run this country.
Wow.
The onus is on all of us. Yeah.
Well, if you were speaking to me as the pastor of this church, and you were speaking to my congregation, let me give you a few minutes to talk to us, to wake us up from our slumber.
Oh dear, Pastor, that's a hard one. Not hard. I mean, I think I've spoken a bit, and I hope people understand and realize that we cannot live in this cocoon and be comfortable in it. We cannot be comfortable when our brother is suffering. And who is your brother? Remember the Good Samaritan. Your brother is anybody who needs your help.
Wow.
We cannot we cannot be comfortable unless everybody around us is comfortable. And I'm not challenging you to do things that you cannot do. You are not the governor. You are not even the commissioner for education. But in your own little area, you can make a difference. You can and you should make a difference, because you never know whose life you will be affecting and what that person will become. I always tell people, don't think it will come near you. There was a chap years ago who said he wanted to marry my daughter. Nice looking chap. He had all the frilly hair, the funny hair they have. He had iPods and everything. But there was something strange. He just couldn't converse. He was just, show more. You don't have. Who's this guy? Now he made the cardinal error of writing a love letter to my daughter. Oh, the whole family was up in arms. He could barely string a sentence together. He told us he was in University of Cape Town. He was just a boy hanging around at Makoko. What if my daughter had been a more wayward girl? He could have impregnated her, excuse me. And what do we do? So anything can happen. They're around you. Our own children are not streetwise. They are very streetwise and clever. So even for that, it's enlightened self-interest for us, first of all, to ensure that our neighbor is able to survive well in this century. And then secondly, it is what God has called us to do. Because He didn't call us to enjoy our money ourselves. He didn't call us to enjoy our gifts and talents ourselves. We are supposed, remember how Jesus sent out the 12 disciples? Go out into the world. So also I counsel people, go out and in your own space. It doesn't have to be education. If you are into crafts, skills and so on, whatever you are in, I think it's time for us to all rise up. That is why I like Lagos State's slogan, which is Ajumose gbogbo wa, Ajumose Ìlọsíwájú ìpínlẹ̀ Ajumose gbogbo wa. That is for Lagos State to move forward. It's got to be a collective effort. So also, wherever you are, please do something. Somebody is suffering. That's my take.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'll continue from this when we come back for the network service at 9:30.
Thank you. Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you so much. It's always a wonderful thing to have you with us.
Thank
we
you.
Really appreciate you.
Thank you. I was blessed. Truly
very,
blessed.
very much. Thank you very much. We'll see you in 30 minutes.
Okay. Thank you, Pastor.